constitution, because probably, yeah,
pardon me,
probably
Lordship, I could not
Article
hear you.
139A. Because Article 142 gives the power to the court. So whatever decree or order is passed, so it has to be followed in the country. But when you have come to the highest court of the land, so under what provision would you come?
If your Lordship, the bench is talking about the Article 139A. The Article 139A deals with the cases transferred from the Honorable High Courts to the Honorable Supreme Courts. But in the present case, this case has not been transferred. The Supreme Court becomes seized as the manius writ petitions has been filed in the various high courts, as Article 139 deals with the special leave petition, and this is a writ petition. So there is not a difference there is a difference between them. So that is why the petitioner has approached under Article 142 of the Constitution.
Right. Council, probably Article 136 deals with the special leave petitions, and 139A is the provision under which the court seizes the matter and hears it before it. If the matter is before, say, various courts, maybe the same subject matter is before the Supreme Court as well as the High Court. Under 142, whatever order is passed, then it is implemented throughout the country. So that's okay. You may proceed with the statement of facts.
Much obliged, your Lordship. The Republic of Replimento consists of people from different strata of the society, people from different religions, socialist, economic, and democratic nations. In the international nation organizations, almost all countries of the world, the member nations, and the Republic of Replimento in recent time has gained a huge popularity by boosting its economy and the image of the country on an international platform. For many years, in the Republic of Replimento, there existed a law which criminalized unnatural sexual intercourse irrespective of gender, with or without consent. This was an evangelical law opposed for centuries together by the LGBTQIA+ community. The said law was condemned by various countries, and the Republic of Replimento was termed as inhuman, and furthermore various countries made public statements, and it was against the basic tenets of the human rights. The highest court of the Republic of Replimento thereafter held the right to privacy as fundamental right, and furthermore held that as far as the said law criminalizes of the sexual acts of the adults person above the age of 18 years who are competent to consent in the private as violated of Article 14, 15, 19 and 21 of the Constitution. The court wanted to mention an interesting quote from the great German thinker Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, which reads, "I am what I am, so take me as I am." Thus, by virtue of the said decision, consensual acts of the adults were no longer criminal. The said decision was well received by the LGBTQIA+ community. However, in the said decision, the LGBTQIA+ community has not been given the civil rights, not discussed, nor upheld. Surprisingly, a few years later, a decision was passed by the highest court of the Republic of Replimento dismissing the plea for granting the civil rights to the member of the LGBTQIA+ community. Thereafter, various writ petitions were filed before the various high courts in the country to read the word person as defined under the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954, so as to include the people of the same sex. Such writ petitions open floodgates regarding the grant of civil rights to the member of the LGBTQIA+ community. The Republic of Replimento filed their reply opposing the same, as it is against the culture and ethos of the country. In order to avoid conflicting decisions that may be passed by the various high courts, the highest court of the Republic of Replimento becomes seized of the matter, and all the cases to transferred. Your Lordship.
So there the jurisdiction lies, right?
Yes, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the Council seeks permission to proceed with the statement of issues.
Sure.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the present Council would be dealing with the issue number 1 and 2, and my co-counsel would be dealing with the issue number 3 and 4. Issue 1, whether or not the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner to include members from the LGBTQIA+ community. Issue 2, whether or not the customs, traditions, rites, rituals form an exhaustive code as contested by the Republic of Replimento. Issue 3, whether or not the members from the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religions. Issue
Council,
4.
you may just deal with the issues which you are dealing. The other speaker can deal with the other issues. So you can proceed with issues which you are dealing with.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the Council seeks permission to proceed with the arguments advanced.
You may proceed.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Issue 1. Whether or not the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner to include members from the LGBTQIA+ community. The Council humbly submits before this Honorable Court that the LGBTQIA+ community has not been provided with the equivalent rights in the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954, since decriminalization of the Section 377 has been done a long time ago, but there is no such provision has been granted of the marriage of the same-sex couples. It very clearly states that a marriage can indeed be solemnized between any two Hindus. Section 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 does not distinguish between homosexual and heterosexual couples, and the right of the same-sex couples to marry should be recognized under this act, as in act does not distinguish between heterosexual and homosexual marriage. This is complete violation of the Article 14 of the Constitution of Republic of Replimento. It is incumbent upon the Council to highlight that it has been held in the case of Lata Singh versus State of UP and another that the Supreme Court interpreted it to be a part of Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. The Supreme Court in this case of intercaste marriage stated that a person becomes major can marry whomsoever he she like. It is urged that the American Psychological Association has opened that the sexual orientation is a natural condition and attraction towards the same sex or the opposite sex are both equal. The only difference being that the same-sex attraction arises in far lesser numbers. It is submitted that the same-sex marriages can be permitted after reinterpreting, modifying, or amending of the existing laws, or by making the language of the act gender neutral to the community. In the present situation, almost 29 countries have legalized the same-sex marriages. The Canada has done it in the 2005 and the South Africa has done in the year of 2006. So it has done a long time ago in the other nations, as Republic of Replimento also represent in the international organization. So they should learn from them and give them their rights in their country also. Your Lordship, if the bench is satisfied with the arguments of the present council, then the council seeks permission to proceed with the further issue.
Right. So I have a few questions. So since you mentioned that long time ago, Section 377 was done away with. So was it done away with fully, or what was the nature, and which was the case in which it was done away with? As in which case you mentioned?
Much obliged, Lordship. I mentioned about the case of Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India. In this case, the Honorable Supreme Court decriminalized the Section 377, consisting of 5 judge benches, consist of the Chief Justice at that Chief Justice Deepak Mishra and Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Indu Malhotra, and other judges.
So the entire Section 377 has been done away with, or certain things have been taken out of its ambit?
Your Lordship, everything has been taken away with. The Section 377 has become the unconstitutional from the September 2018 after the Supreme Court judgment.
I see. I believe probably it is done away with partially, but you may, as in, read the judgment again.
Pardon me, Your Lordship.
Yeah. And you were mentioning about the amendment to the various acts, say this one, Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act. And you referred to an American jurist also, his opinion. So probably the other sides or the Republic of Replemento's counter is on the fact that it is against the ethos and cultural values of the nation. So you have something, you must have obviously researched. So you have something in relation to Indian jurists or some author who can opine on it?
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the customs and traditions that are being followed in the country are based on the continuity, reasonableness, and conformity to the law. Reasonableness, talk about the custom must be reasonable. For declaring a custom inapplicable on the ground of unreasonableness, it will have to be shown that it is obviously opposed to the reason. Conformity with the statute law. A custom to be valid must be in conformity with the statute law. It is for the positive rule in the most of the legal system that a statute can abrogate the custom. And
I am following. So probably you're trying to say that whatever customs are there, they obviously need to be tested under the provisions of the Constitution. Accordingly, they should be interpreted, right?
And we have to go with the flow, as it is the 21st century going on, and we must interpret it, because the laws were made in the year of 1955 and 1954. At that time, there were no talks about the LGBTQIA plus community. So in the present situation, when they are demanding their rights, when they want their rights, so it should be the need of the republic, of the Replimento. So should it provide?
Yes. So council, are you trying to say that during that time, this community did not exist?
No, your lordship, they exist, but in a very lesser number. They don't know about their rights. They don't know. It is a biological thing, and they do not about their sex reassignation. They do not about what they are, man or woman. At that time, they were not clear. When the science grows, when the science has grown, technology has come. At that time, they got to know about them. That it is the third community.
No problem, council. So you may proceed with the next issue.
Much obliged, your lordship.
Yes, we have paucity of time, so you may proceed with the other one.
Much obliged. Issue 2. Whether or not the customs, traditions, rites, rituals form an exhaustive code as contested by the Republic of Replimento. The council humbly submits before this honorable court that the customs, traditions, rites, rituals, all these things are not above the human rights of the community. In other nations, the shift in the understanding of the homosexuality from sin, crime, pathology to a normal variant of human sexuality occurred in the late 20th century. The American Psychiatric Association in 1973 and the World Health Organization in 1992 officially accepted its normal variant status. Many countries have since decriminalized homosexual behavior, and some have recognized same-sex civil unions and marriage. Even our country also represents the International Relation Organization. Therefore, they should learn from them and give them the equal rights and opportunities to the community. They're thinking about the old customs and traditions which were followed at that time, but the present situation, they are facing the physically and mentally torture. They are also the part of the community and need to get the equal rights among the others. The rights and rituals which the government is talking about does not matter here, as the same-sex couple are the human beings and the law-obeying citizens, and they are very well known what is right and what is wrong. They have not made the country ashamed anytime, not disobeyed. So it is the time to listen to their voices, to support them, to give them their chance to stand shoulder to shoulder with others. All they want is equality, freedom from discrimination, status in society. They want to run their life like an ordinary human being, not like some special, which people stare at them. They have not done anything to their body. It's the natural thing. The God has made them this way, and they are not ashamed of it. Then why are the other people think negative about them? Your lordship, if the bench is satisfied with the arguments of the present council, then the council seeks permission to call upon my co-council to proceed with the further issues.
Yes, you may call upon your...
Much obliged, your lordship.
The council seeks permission to proceed with the remaining issues.
Yeah, you may proceed.
Much obliged, your lordship. Issue number 3, whether or not members from the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religions. The council humbly submits before this honorable court that in the case of Shakti Vahini versus Union of India and Shafeen Jahan versus Ashokan KM, the honorable court recognized that an individual's exercise of choice in choosing a partner is a feature of dignity, and therefore it is protected under Articles 19 and 21 of the Constitution. And by not legalizing the same-sex marriages, it would be a violation of their fundamental rights and right to marry one that should be granted to every, regardless of their sexual orientation. It is submitted that the provisions and amendments can be made in the Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Special Marriage Act 1954, and other marriage acts for the betterment of the society. In the case of National Legal Services Authority versus Union of India, the court gave them the identity as third gender. There is no difference between people who defy social conventions to enter into interreligious and intercaste marriages and those who choose a same-sex partner, in the sense that the society may disapprove of their intercaste and interreligious marriages. Right to marry is a fundamental right and is part of right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution. Even the Honorable Supreme Court has decriminalized Section 377 in the case of Navteej Singh Johar versus Union of India. After that, giving them the right to marry in their own community would not create a problem. In the case of Sultana Mirza and another, versus State of UP and others, the Honorable Allahabad High Court extends protection to the same-sex couple, acknowledging the stark reality of discrimination faced by the community in the society, making provisions and amending the laws of different marriage acts, and especially in the Special Marriage Act 1954, would lead to normalizing the marriage of the same-sex couple.
Okay, Council, just a small question.
Yes, Your
Okay,
Lordship.
under Hindu Marriage Act, which all, as in religions, are considered to be part of, as in Hindu Marriage Act, or which all people are covered?
Jains, Buddhists, and Sikhs, and other people of that of such community are considered in Hindu Marriage Act.
Right, right.
1955. Yes, Your Lordship.
Yeah, you may proceed.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Issue number 4. Whether or not rights can be granted to the members of the LGBTQIA+ community. The Council humbly submits before this Honorable Court that the LGBTQIA+ community have not been given civil rights, although Section 377, which deals with discrimination on grounds of sexual orientation, has been decriminalized and deemed unconstitutional. The rights to marry, adopt a child, property, and other fundamental rights which the citizens get in reciprocity of their fundamental duties performed by them should be provided to the LGBTQIA+ community. The Parliament has still not made any further efforts to translate the rights of succession and protection from violence in intimate relationships for the community. And neither has it given the LGBTQIA+ community any directions with regard to their service in the military of the Republic of Replimento. The Council deems it requisite to highlight the matter of Professor Ramachandra Srinivas Siras. The professor was suspended from Aligarh Muslim University when a video of him was leaked by the media of him having coitus with a rickshaw puller inside his household premises. I'm sorry, Your Lordship. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
The right to privacy, which is constituted under Article 21 that protected what he did in the privacy of his home, was violated. Articles 14 and 15 of the Constitution provides that every action of the government must be informed by the reasons and guided for the public interest, which was also hindered when the professor was not given equality to choose his partner. The university should not have suspended the professor on the bias of him being homosexual, which violates the right to equal opportunities in public employment, covered under Article 16. The Supreme Court, while reading down Section 377 of the Penal Code of the Republic of Replimento, had also held that LGBTQIA+ community would be entitled to equal citizenship, thereby hinting at the future expansion of civil rights. But further developments regarding the civil rights is still awaiting any ruling. If the bench is satisfied with the arguments of the present council, then the council would like to proceed with the prayer.
Council, can you just tell me a few things? So since you mentioned about right to privacy, and you also mentioned about a case wherein this professor was suspended because of his sexual orientation or what was captured in his private capacity or whatever activity was there. So,
Yes,
so can you tell me, is right of privacy part of fundamental rights?
Yes, you're right, Lordship. Right to privacy is a fundamental right and is constituted under Article 21 of the Constitution.
Okay, and at the has it been recently as in by this court, has it been recently stated that it is part of fundamental rights, or was it also a fundamental right at the time when this case was being looked at?
Indeed, Your Lordship, this fundamental rights had been from the start of the when the Constitution was made and the amendments came into force. So
yes, I follow that, but I am saying obviously the fundamental rights came in from the time the Constitution came into being. However,
yes,
whether right to privacy was included in fundamental rights or was it not? Or has it been later on added to the rights under Article 21?
Indeed, Your Lordship, right to privacy has been later on added in the fundamental rights under Article 21.
Yes. So which was the case law?
Pardon me, Your Lordship, can I
No, it's not.
come to
It's not a memory test. Probably you would have heard about this case law, Puttaswamy.
Yes, Your Lordship, K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India.
Yes. So now I'm just trying to correlate it with the case law you mentioned. So that is of the Gujarat professor. So at that time, was this right to privacy prevalent? Because this case law, I think, is about 2000 years, right? That time it was adjudicated.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes. So if something is not considered to be part of, say, constitution as in fundamental rights, so can you try and make use of them before, as in before the activity was, before the activity happened?
Indeed, Your Lordship, the activity happened a long time ago in 2000s when the right to privacy was not included. But other fundamental rights have had also been violated in this case, such as Article 16, Article 21, Article 19, and discrimination has been seen in this case. So,
and Council, you are aware about Article 19 also?
Indeed, Your Lordship.
So Article 19 talks about what?
Article 19 talks about the discrimination on the basis. No, that was Article 15. Sorry, pardon me, Your Lordship.
So freedom to, as in exercise your trade and profession, is under which article?
Article 19, Your Lordship. And Article 16 deals with
Yes.
equality in opportunities.
Yes.
In public
so
employment.
therefore, that also dealt with Article 19.
Yes, Your Lordship. Article 16 was also violated because equal opportunities were not given in employment.
Correct.
As it was a government institution, Your Lordship.
And you have any other, as in the issue which you mentioned earlier on, you dealt with issue number 2 and 4, right?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes. So can you just summarize issue number 2?
Issue number 2 dealt with like the intercaste and interreligious marriages were given recognition by many high courts. So why can't the homosexual marriages be given recognition under Special Marriage Act or the Hindu Marriage Act was the basis of issue 2. It also included the case laws of Sultana Mirza and another, which included live-in relationship as to give the rights to the spouses of a person so that they can, if in a dire situation, identify themselves as the person's relative, because hospitals also have or the medical institutions also have certain rights and rules and regulations which are required to be fulfilled to be there present there with the person. It also talked about Shakti Vahini versus Union of India, which was again on honor killing in intercaste and interreligious marriages. So if intercaste and interreligious marriages are allowed, because it was the judge or the bench favored the Shakti Vahini petitioner. So if this is allowed, then why can't the homosexuals or the LGBTQIA plus community be given rights so as to marry and identify themselves? If they have already been given rights to self-identification under Transgendered People's Bill, a part of the community has been given rights of self-identification, then why can't the whole community be given civil rights?
Right. So I'll ask the same question to you, which I asked your colleague, that the respondent's primary contention is that it is against the ethos and culture of the country. So how and why would the legislature make amendments to their concerned laws, be it say Special Marriage Act, be Hindu Marriage Act, or the way you want the courts to interpret the definition of person under the act?
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The respondents would like to say that it is involving their customs and ethos. But customs and ethos change with the period of time. Laws are made for the welfare of the society and for the welfare of the people living in the society. So the Special Marriage Act, as being secular, should include members from all religions, and Hindu Marriage Act also being as LGBTQ community are also citizens of the country and are performing their duties in reciprocity of their rights that they have been asking from us. So why can't they be given civil rights, and why can't they be given these marriage rights under Special Marriage Act, which is a secular right?
So you mean to say civil right to marry each other, or
Yes,
they don't have any?
They have some rights, as Article 15 when Section 377 was abolished. The Supreme Court held the judgment that Article 15 was not violative of Section 377. But other rights have been provided. Other rights have not been provided to them. The Transgender People Bill also talks about only a part of the community, and it only talks about giving them the rights in education and other sectors. But no such measures have been seen in the recent years. Also, in the case of NALSA judgment, NALSA versus Union of India 2014, the Honorable Supreme Court held that third gender can be included in the Constitution. The transgendered people or the LGBT community can be held to be seen as third gender people. Then why it has taken 7 years, but only one transgender people bill, which also only talks about self-identification of transgendered people, been only passed by the Constitution of Republic of Replimento? Other steps should also have been taken by the legislature. That's why we are invoking the right of the court and filing this case, as the legislature have passed judgments, but have taken their ample amount of time before passing any further judgments, Your Lordship.
So I think you have any further comments or any further submissions to make?
Yes, Your Lordship. I can also make further submissions about. Just a second, Your Lordship. Shafeen Jahan versus Asokan KM, which was also a case of interreligious marriage, but it was a case of love jihad, which has been prevalent in the society in the upcoming few years. This case dealt with the marriage of a Muslim girl and a marriage of a Hindu girl and converting into Islam. And the parents of the Hindu girl said that conversion to Islamic religion would not be held constitutional by the religious religion. So they filed a case, but the case was quashed, and Shafeen Jahan's case was given recognition.
So how is it relation to the subject matter which we are hearing right now?
It is also in relation with the subject matter, as Your Lordship, discrimination has been seen on the side of the parents. They discriminated the two people who formed a unification in marriage bond and wanted them to be separated. So that is what is happening in the society right now. Homosexuals have been given marriage rights, have been given decriminalization rights, and Section 377 has been abolished. But still, even if they are in live-in relationships, such as in Sultana Mirza versus another and State of UP versus other case, they still face discrimination and are still getting life-threatening
the bench primarily you argued this case for the purpose of discrimination or whatever the couples face in the society in view of, say, such case law, or otherwise since they are members of the community.
Yes, Your Lordship, because they are also member of the community.
So in order to avoid such a thing happening in future, you want the part as the people from the community to be included, and they should be given rights to be to get married and otherwise under Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act.
Yes, Your Lordship. They should also be given rights to adopt, surrogacy, and other rights, as I have mentioned in my issue earlier, Your Lordship.
Right. Okay. So I think we have paucity of time also, and plus I believe Yes. So should I give the feedback now or later on? Can I give it?
So later on, when
Your Lordship,
This will be part of the will be part of the call. Right.
Your Lordship,
so the respondents may begin then.
Your Lordship, the council seeks permission to finish with the prayer. It would only take 30 seconds or 1 minute.
No problem.
Much obliged.
You may proceed.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. In the light of the questions presented, arguments advanced, and authorities cited, the counsels for the petitioners most humbly and respectfully pray before this honorable court that it may be pleased to adjudge and declare that the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and Special Marriage Act 1954 can be read in a manner to include members from the LGBTQIA+ community. The customs, traditions, rites, rituals does not form an exhaustive code as contested by the Republic of Replimento. The members from the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religions. The civil rights can be granted to the members of the LGBTQIA+ community. The petitioner additionally prays that the court may make any such order as it may deem fit in terms of equity, justice, and due conscience. And for this act of kindness, the petitioner shall, as duty bound, ever humbly pray. The petitioner rests their case here.
Thanks.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
So the respondent may begin whenever they are ready.
Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, counsel. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Lordship. May I please the court? I am the counsel on the behalf of the respondent in the present case, that is Rainbow Non-Profit Organization versus Union of Replimento, under the jurisdiction of Article 139A. And my team code is Rubal Kindle and Sonika Chwai. And I am, as the court is well versed with the facts, now I would like to seek the permission to proceed with the arguments of the case.
Right. So we actually asked certain questions to the petitioners regarding the jurisdiction also of the court. So probably I've seen your memo. So you can just maybe take 30 seconds on that.
Indeed, Your Lordship. We are moving under the jurisdiction of Article 139A because there are, as we've seen in the facts, there are various writ petitions were filed in the various high courts in the country of Replimento. And to avoid the conflicting decisions from the different courts, high courts, the Supreme Court seized the matter and transferred the case. And it is defined under the Article 139A that the transfer of certain cases under the certain circumstances, and it is mentioned in this article. So we proceed under this Article 139A in this case.
Okay, so may I know, as in, what is the purpose of having 139A?
May I clear the court on this issue?
When your turn, as in, is there, probably you can deal with it. However, currently your colleague is dealing with it, so probably I would like to hear her.
Indeed, Your Lordship.
Your Lordship, because we are proceeding under the Article 139A, because so that to we can't get the conflicting decisions from the various high courts. To avoid the conflicting decisions from the various high court, we proceed under the Article 139A because Supreme Court transferred the case to avoid the conflicts.
Right. You may proceed with the arguments on the issues, and you will be dealing with which issues?
Much obliged, Your Lordship. I am dealing with the issue number 1 and issue number 4. I would like to proceed with the issue number first. The issue number first is that the Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and the Special Marriage Act 1954 can't be read in a manner to include members from the LGBTQ+ community. So it is humbly submitted on the behalf of the petitioner that the LGBTQ community can't be included under this act, because I would like to...
The petitioner or the respondent?
I'm the respondent, Your Lordship.
Yes. So you are, I think you're appearing for the respondent.
Yes.
Yes.
Can't be included in the Hindu Marriage Act and the Special Marriage Act. To support my contention here, I would like to mention some sections of Hindu Marriage Act 1955. The section number 5 of the Hindu Marriage Act that govern the Hindus, Sikhs, Jains, and Buddhists provides for the conditions constituting a valid marriage, and it merely says that a marriage may be solemnized between two Hindus without referring to the gender of the parties. It also specifies that for marriage, the bride should attain the age of 18 years and the bridegroom 21. Since this provision of the act, no gender specification and no definition of bride and bridegroom, but that can't be interpreted to include the homosexual marriages. No provision in the statute and no word in any section can be construed in isolation. The elementary principle of interpreting any word while considering a statute is to gather the means of sentiment of legislature. To further support my contention here, Your Lordship, I would like to mention a section 13 subclause 2 subclause 4 that is in this section. The word that her marriage is used in this section. I would like to interpret the section to this honorable court that her marriage, whether consummated or not, was solemnized before she attained the age of 15 years, and she was repudiated the marriage after attaining that age, but before attaining the age of 18 years, clearly points out the intention of the legislature to confine the concept of marriage to heterosexual unions only, because here the word which is used, her, before the bride, which signifies that the bride word is used for the females only, and clearly interpreted and nullifies the argument that the said act includes the members of the LGBTQ community. Your Lordship, to further support my contention, I would like to mention some sections of Special Marriage Act 1954. Chapter 3 of the said act, that is related to the section 15 to 18, which deals with the registration of marriage celebrated in other forms, can't be read to include the members of the said community. And section 4C of the Act provides that the purpose of marriage, the male should have attained the age of 21 years and the female age of 18 years, which shows that in existing form it applies only to the heterosexual couples only. Similarly, section 27 clause 1 and 31 subclause 1 would only apply to the heterosexual couples. And the first schedule of the Special Marriage Act 1954, that is related to the prohibited relationship, is only consider the relationship between a man and women with a certain degrees of the familial relationship, would also be construed to the heterosexual underpinning of the act. So I would like to mention here that because there is not even a single provision which is related to the same-sex marriage in the following both acts, so I would like to say that the LGBTQ community can't be read in a manner to include in both the acts. If the court is satisfied with the argument of issue number 1, I would like to proceed with the issue number 4.
Okay, so counsel, you mentioned that under, say, section 5, it does not specifically say that it, as in the members of the community are excluded. So there is no bifurcation made as such. So it just merely says that it is a union of two persons who are Hindus, right? Under the Hindu Marriage Act, since you just mentioned about the Hindu Marriage Act, right?
Indeed, Your Lordship.
Yes. So you mean to say that there was no discrimination which was thought at the time this act was passed?
Indeed, Your Lordship, because at that point of time, there were not many cases related to the said community, and the society was not aware about this community also at that point of time. So so we can say that the legislature is confined this concept to the heterosexual.
And the main other line of argument you took was that, and if you interpret the sections of the act, be it say section 4, be it section 13, so it primarily says that it is in relation to union of heterosexual people, right? And your submission is that people who are from the community may not be included. But that is it so far in it is concerned with the act when it was passed, say 1954 or 1955, be it say Hindu Marriage Act or Special Marriage Act. But now, in view of the fact that section 377, so can you guide me on that also? As in, what is your viewpoint on abrogation of 377? Has it been fully abrogated or certain exceptions have been made?
Indeed, Your Lordship, as we say that in the section 377 is upheld and decriminalized, but it can't say that, but we can't interpret this as we that the homosexuals that we can recognize the legal sanctity to the homosexual couples, because it is specifically mentioned in the facts that when this judgment was passed, there was no discussed about the homosexual marriages, and there is no mention of the homosexual marriages. So we can't join the two aspects that because 377 is struck down, so we should give them the right to marriage.
Has it been struck down fully or partially?
as I learned, Your Lordship, it is not fully upheld, but this point that will decriminalize the adults' sexual acts, only this part will upheld by the.
So now, counsel, since you have told me that it has been, say, partially done away with, or maybe partially it has been decriminalized, the sexual activity between, say, homosexual people or the community. So now, in view of these developments, so shouldn't the act be read in a manner that they should be allowed to marry under
I would like to, Your Lordship, I would like to mention here some reasons. Because the Replemento is a country which is of which has many religions, and this society is not ready to adopt this community, this LGBTQ community. And if the legislature did so, if we include the LGBTQ members in both the acts, there may be a internal disturbance in the country. So if the society is not fully developed yet and not fully adopt this concept of LGBTQ community, so it is not a logical decision to grant them these civil rights.
Right. So, counsel, you may proceed with the other issue.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. The issue number 4 is that whether or not members from the said community can be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religion. It is humbly submitted that the members of the LGBTQ community should not be allowed to marry as per the rituals of their respective religion, because marriage is defined as the state of being united to a person of opposite sex as a husband or wife in a legal, consensual, and contractual relationship recognized and sanctioned by law. The foremost purpose of marriage is the procreation of children, which is not possible to the LGBTQ members. Marriage is a social institution and necessarily depends upon the age-old customs, traditions, rituals, cultural ethos, societal values. It is also submitted that the Navtej Singh's case was only limited to the decriminalizing a particular human behavior, which was neither intended to, nor did it in fact legitimize the human conduct in question. It is also submitted that the marriage between two individuals of a same sex is neither recognized nor accepted in any uncodified personal law or any codified statutory law. In mind that homosexuality is considered as vile and unacceptable in most of the religions, any amendment in the personal laws regarding to the queer community can't be a practical solution. And I believe that my opponent counsel has misquoted a fact in this present case, that the right to marriage, adoption, etc. are the fundamental rights. It is not a fundamental right, and nor it is a constitutional right. It is only a human right, and it is defined under the, we can say that it is a human right because it is defined under the UDHR, that is Universal Declaration of Human Rights, article number 16 in 1948. So I would like to clear this to the court that the right to marriage is not a fundamental right under the article 21 of the Constitution. And it is also submitted that recognition of the same sex would affect the interest and upbringing of child, as the child will always be deprived of either his natural mother or father, as we see in the many examples of the orphanage or etc. Or those childs who are deprived of their natural mothers and father. And I would like to mention here some statements that in a child's life, there is a two role model always. First is the father role model, and the second is her mother role model. And the both role models are not be fulfilled in the LGBTQ community's marriage, because there is a gender gap always, because if the same sexes are recognized under this type of marriage, so the child is always deprived of the one role model, either is of a father role model or either is of a mother role model. As it can be contended that the same-sex marriage has been recognized in many countries in the world, but it can't be done in a country with a high cultural and religious diversity and due to change in the value system. And because if we done this in the country like Replemento, then it will affect the religious belief of the society, and it will affect the faith of the society in the state, and it will cause the internal disturbance in the country. So I would like to submit that the LGBTQ community can't be allowed to be married as per the rituals of their respective religion. And I would like to, if the court is satisfied, I would like to invite my co-counsel to further dealing with the issues.
Yes, the co-counsel may proceed.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Your Lordship, the council is dealing with issue number 2 and issue number 3 of the present case. Issue number 2 is this: whether the civil rights can be granted to the members of LGBT community or not. It is humbly submitted before the court.
May I just pause you for a bit? Since you wanted to say something when your colleague was being asked a question, so you may apprise the court of whatever submissions you have or you had at that point of time.
Your Lordship, I want to clear about the statement of jurisdictions. We have invoked the case under Article 139A of the Constitution because it deals with the situation when two or more, when a question is pending, substantially same question is pending before 2 or more high courts or before high courts or Supreme Court. Then the Supreme Court may suo moto, or an application by the parties to the petitions can approach to the Supreme Court, and if the question is of general importance, the Supreme Court can withdraw the case and may dispose of it by itself. So this case is of a general importance, which a petition has been filed before various high courts. Therefore, the Supreme Court suo moto seized all the matter and transferred the cases to itself.
Right. You may proceed with the issue now.
Indeed, Your Lordship. It is humbly submitted that the civil rights cannot be granted to the members of the said community because most of the civil rights, including right to marriage, right to adoption, maintenance, inheritance, and succession, has been recognized by personal laws, and personal laws of various religions do not recognize homosexual unions and transgender unions. As it may be contended that non-recognition of right to the said community would be violative of Article 15 of the Constitution and also the Yogyakarta principles. It is submitted that Article 15 prohibits discrimination on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, place of the birth, and any of them, but not sexual orientation specifically. The Yogyakarta principle, which may be highly relied upon by the petitioners or other opponents, have limited sanctity as they do not amount to international treaty binding upon the state parties, and there are no intergovernmentally negotiated international instrument or agreed human rights treaties on the issue of LGBTQ community. As the civil rights of the said community has not been recognized by the personal laws, it cannot be granted to the said community. I would like to support my contention by referring decision of Union of India versus Devaki Nandan Agarwal, wherein it was observed that the court cannot rewrite, recast, or reframe the legislation for the good reason that it has the power, it has no power to legislate, and the court cannot add word to statute which are not there. Your Lordship, as my opponent counsel has argued that it would be violative or it would cause discrimination and violence against the LGBT community for non-granting of rights to them. In order to curb that contention, I would like to mention here the Parliament, the Transgender Person Bill 2019, which was enacted by the Parliament, which prohibits the discrimination against transgender person, including denial of services or unfair treatment in relation to education, employment, healthcare, access to enjoyment of goods, facilities, opportunities available to public, right to movement, etc. The intent of legislature is to grant certain rights to the transgender person and to allow them to live with dignity, as the civil rights based on the personal laws cannot be granted to them due to the high public criticism and a possibility of internal disturbances. It can also be contended that if civil rights are granted to the members of LGBT community, it will be against the religious or the customs of the country, and the custom plays an important role in our society, where in our society or a country like Raplimento, which is multi-religious and multiculturalist country. So in order to avoid the conflicting interest and also to balance the conflicting interest of LGBT community and the customs of the said society, the legislature has enacted the Transgender Persons Bill 2019 in order to grant these LGBTQ community certain rights. If the court is satisfied with my submission relating to issue number 2, I would like to proceed with issue number 3.
So, counsel, you are primarily saying that since there are, as in you, all, as in your co-counsel also mentioned that the petitioners were little, as in they were stating certain facts wrong, probably in view of the fact that the UN Charter only provides for human rights and right to marry and this one, the other rights are covered under human rights, not as such under fundamental rights, or say under Article 21. And you are also saying that because of the cultural ethos of the country, there would be widespread uproar in the country because if we allow as in same-sex marriage. So, as in the question which I have in my mind is, since in view of the fact that it has been now decriminalized, as in they can have their, because of their sexual orientation, they can cohabit. So why are they be, as in if we just allow them to say live in relationship, assuming, okay, they probably want to get married, but the cultural ethos of the country, so wouldn't that be totally against the ethos to allow people to live in relationship than the under the holy institution of marriage?
Your Lordship, I would like to mention here that cohabitation is recognized according to Navtej Singh Johar case, which decriminalized 377. But the right to marriage or the right to marriage has not been recognized because marriage is a public institution. And in a cultural country like Replimento, marriage is considered as a sacrament union. The sanctity of the marriage can be destroyed or can be destroyed if these unions are allowed to be married as per their rituals, because the majority of the people or the public opinion has not recognized these marriages or the relationship of these community. Although it may take time to the community to recognize all those things, because in a sudden way or it is a long battle which has to be fought. It cannot be done in a day. The changes took place according to the needs of the society, according to the times. And I would like to mention here a draft code which was which was related to Uniform Civil Code 2016, in which the said community has proposed to amend the marriage law in order to include the LGBTQ community, but keeping in mind the needs of the society and the circumstances of the society, the Law Commission of India has recognized that the UCC is neither need of the is not the need of the hour, or it cannot be implemented in the situation which is prevailing in our society. So I would like to submit here that it is not the right time.
Yes, because of the personal laws which are there. Say, Parsi Act is there. Even as regards
Marriage Act is
also,
there.
As regards succession, also you have Indian Succession Act, Hindu Succession Act. So therefore, in a country like India, you're trying to say the possibility of having UCC is not there.
Yeah,
it will have a lot of repercussions.
It will have a lot of repercussion because we can refuse, although the time has changing and the society has adopting the new forms and new laws, but it took time to move with the society or to move with the changes which occurs in the society.
Yes,
we can't do this in a day.
Yes. So counsel, you also told me that the courts are here to interpret the statute. They are not here to say make a fresh legislation in view of the fact that they are interpreting a particular statute. So now, in view of the fact that we have also, as in you also apprised me about the abrogation or not abrogation, as in partially decriminalization of 377. So this and also you submitted that there was no discussion on the fact about marriages in that judgment, right? But it has certain as an effect is there on the marriage laws also, because earlier, since this was not allowed under the penal laws, now it is not criminal activity. So the courts now need to interpret it. As you mentioned that we are not adding any words to the statute. However, we have to interpret. Your co-counsel mentioned that it's a holy union, say, as far as Hindu Marriage Act is concerned, between two Hindus. So why can't the third gender be included in that? Because it's now not hit by the criminal laws also.
Your Lordship, I would like to mention here Section 5, Clause 3, which talks about the age of the bride and bridegroom. It has says that the age of bride should have 18 years and the bridegroom 21 years of age. So the word bride and bridegroom has not specifically interpreted in the gender includes girls only, and the bridegrooms includes only males or the men.
So are you also trying to say that in case the courts cannot interpret it in other manner, you are suggesting that? So what happens to the third gender? As in, what do we do about that?
Your Lordship, as I earlier mentioned, that the court has to interpret the matter, not to rewrite or recast or reframe any legislation.
Yes,
so if we want to recognize the transgender community, the legislature has to make amendment under the following acts in order to recognize their rights. But in the same way, it cannot be interpreted to include the LGBTQ community, because there are specific provisions which talks about the heterosexual union only.
So are you trying to say that in the event the court is inclined to, as in give them the rights to marry under the respective acts, so accordingly the amendments have to be made by the, as in respective government, say it's a central statute, so central government?
Indeed, Your Lordship.
So are you, yes, so I follow that this is the procedure, but are you in favor of actually the court making an order directing the government to do this?
Your Lordship, I would like to, the council would want to submit here that if the recognition is granted to the members of LGBT community in the same day, it would create a havoc in the society, because the society is not well developed. We can in current scenario, we can see that love jihad and cases of intercaste marriages, honor killing are there. Then the society are not able to recognize LGBT community.
I really appreciate that, but that is for the police and other functionaries of the government to control it, if such an uproar is there.
The court at such a time in need of power, the court cannot give a judgment to interpret the statute as accordingly, because it will also create a havoc in the society, and the legislature is not now able to amend the provisions because the legislature has been dealing with other issues like love jihad, intercaste marriages, honor killing. And if we pass if the court passed a judgment which grant right to marriage or civil rights to the member of LGBT community, it would not do any special thing to them, because unless and until the societal recognition is granted to them, they have very less to gain with such rights.
Right. So you may proceed with the other issue you were dealing with.
Indeed, Your Lordship. The third issue with which the council is dealing is whether the custom, tradition, rituals forms an exhaustive code. It is humbly submitted to the Honorable Court that custom, traditions, and ritual form the exhaustive code. Custom is the most ancient and important source of law. It plays an important role to govern the society. The council wants to refer C.S. Salmon's views on custom and tradition. He says that the custom and tradition has significant value due to two reasons. First is custom is the embodiment of those principles which have commanded themselves to the national conscience as a principle of justice and public utility. And second one is the existence of an established uses is the basis of rational expectations of its continuance in future. I would like to mention here historical school's view also, which according to Puchta, custom is not only self-sufficient and independent of legislative authority, but is the custom precedent of all the sound legislation. And James Cater says that what has governed the conduct of man from the beginning of time will continue to govern to the end of the time. Human nature is not likely to undergo radical changes, and law will forever continue to be a custom. In Collector of Madura versus Ramalinga, the Lordship in Privy Council observed that in Hindu law, the clear proof of uses will outweigh the written text of the law. Therefore, it is submitted that custom plays an important role in governing the society, and most of the developed system of law has been drawn from ancient custom. In a multi-religious country like Replimento, the personal laws of different religion are nothing but customary law, which had been recognized by the court and embodied in the judicial decision from time to time. Here, council also wants to refer some cases. There were a number of cases where it has been held that personal laws of parties are not susceptible to part 3 of the Constitution of India dealing with fundamental rights. Therefore, they cannot be challenged as being violative of Article 14, 15, and 21 of the Constitution. In Ahmedabad Women Action Group case 1997, 3, Supreme Court 573, in this case, it was held that in this case, certain aspects of personal laws a petition was filed to amend certain provisions of personal laws which are condemned as discriminatory, but the court, relying on the earlier decision, held that the matter pertained to be legislative action and the court could not interfere in the legislative powers of the government. Therefore, it is submitted to the court that custom and tradition forms an exhaustive code and which can be amended or which can be altered only by the legislature. The court cannot interfere in the personal laws of the country.
Right, counsel. So can you tell me, are the customs and traditions, are they codified somewhere or they are not?
Codified and uncodified also. They, like Hindu laws is a codified customary law, whereas the Muslim laws is uncodified customary practices. And for a custom to be codified law, it must fulfill certain criteria, like it should be reasonable, it should not be opposed to public policy, public morality, and have a continuity and long duration.
Right. So, counsel, can you also tell me, does the morality changes as the society progresses?
Indeed, your lordship, morality can be changed according to the needs of the society.
Right. So you told me that morality also changes with the advancement in the society. So earlier on, around say 1950s, the community was not say fully recognized or their rights were not being advocated. Now, because of the fact that under say IPC also, this has been decriminalized, as in the sexual orientation or the intercourse between the homosexual people. So now they are trying to get more rights under say marriage laws, personal laws, or maybe later on say succession, as well as otherwise.
Your lordship, as section 377, which criminalized the unnatural sexual intercourse, it took around 150 years to nullify that provisions which are highly discriminatory. So it can be contended that to recognize their rights, it would take times to change the concept of society, to change the value and beliefs of the society, so that the real recognition of LGBT community can be granted.
So, counsel, ultimate submission by you could be the fact that though this question is before multiple high courts and Supreme Court, but this may not be the right forum to actually give it interpretation, saying that it allows say heterosexual homosexual as an approval to homosexual marriages. You probably want to submit that if at all such changes have to be made, because you also submitted that yes, now there could be change in the morality also of the, as in morals of the community, and obviously customs are there. So if at all some changes are required, and you also mentioned about that 2019 bill, so the central government has to do it, not the courts. Is that your submission, or if I have missed something?
Your lordship, the council wants to submit here that neither the statutory right nor any uncodified law has recognized the unions of homosexual or transgender persons. So it cannot be interpreted by the court to include them when these rights are not there in the statute or uncodified law.
Right.
So sorry to interrupt, but the time.
I think you're done with your submissions, counsel?
I would like to proceed with prayers, if you allow me.
Yes, yes. You may just as in proceed with that, and thereafter, I think since we are running short of time, so Divya is, that's why probably mentioning that the time is over.
Yeah. Much obliged, your lordship. Therefore, in the light of issue raised, argument advanced, and authority cited, it is humbly prayed that this honorable court not to include LGBTQ community in Hindu Marriage Act 1955 and to in the Special Marriage Act 1954, and not to grant civil rights to the member of LGBTQ community, to declare that custom, traditions, and rituals forms an exhaustive code of law, and not to allow these members to be married as per the rituals of their respective religion. And the council wants to submit here that the court may pass any order, directions, or relief that this honorable court may deem fit in the interest of justice, equity, and good conscience. I rest my case with this.
Right. So, Divya,
So
thanks, counsel.
Your Lordship.
Yes.
Your Lordship, the council seeks permission to proceed with the rebuttals.
Yeah, you may.
There will be 2 minutes allotted for each side for the rebuttals. That's it.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the council would like to highlight upon the memorandum of the respondent side of the issue number 1, line number 4, which states that between two Hindus, without referring to the gender of the parties, the Republic of Replimento already mentioned that without referring to the gender, they can marry. So why the Republic of Replimento is not making the laws to the gender neutral and giving them the rights? And furthermore, they said that as it is contested that non-recognition of civil rights of the said community would be violated of Article 15 of the Constitution, and also the principles of Yogya Karta is submitted, prohibits discrimination based on grounds of sex, religion, caste, and of the birth, but not of the sexual orientation. But it is the judgment called in the Suresh Kaushal and another versus Nath Foundation, which is overruled by the Honorable Supreme Court in the case of Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India. And in the case of K.S. Puttaswamy, the Navtej Singh Johar judgment, the Honorable Supreme Court held that it is the right to privacy for them. And in the issue number 4, they have wrote, it is also submitted the Navtej Singh case was only limited to the discrimination of a particular human behavior, which was neither intended to nor did affect legitimate the human conduct the question. But in the case of Navtej Singh Johar versus Union of India, the court reinterpreted it that the Article 15 prohibits the state from discriminating on grounds only of sex. Early judicial pronouncement adjusts a discrimination on the basis of sex and some other grounds. The argument that was since Article 15 prohibits discrimination only on specific grounds, discriminating resulting from a specified ground coupled with other consideration is not prohibited. The view that if the discrimination is justified on the grounds of sex and another factor, it would not cover the prohibition in the Article 15. The formalistic interpretation of Article 15 would render the constitutional guarantee against discrimination meaningless, for it would allow the state to claim that the discrimination was based on sex and another ground, and hence outside the ambit of Article 15. Latent in the argument of the discrimination are stereotypical notions of the difference between man and woman, which are then used to justify the discrimination. The view of Article 15 strikes the prohibition of its essential content. This fails to take into the account that intersexual nature of sex discrimination, which cannot be said to operate in the isolation of other identities.
Counsel, I think I'm not able to hear you. There is some disruption. Maybe your screen has frozen.
Pardon me, Your Lordship. My counsel is facing some network connectivity issue.
Right.
I apologize for that.
Right. So you have anything to add to what he was arguing, or should we move on to the respondents to rebut it for their rebuttal?
We can move on to the respondents sub-rebuttal.
Yeah.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Am I audible?
Yes. Please.
Thank you, Lordship. Your
Pardon
Lordship,
me, Your Lordship, for my internet connectivity issues.
No problem.
Your Lordship, counsel seeks permission to proceed.
You had as in other submissions, because probably the time limit was around 2 minutes. So
the counsel needs only 30 seconds to complete.
Okay, you may complete.
Also, the Republic of Revenue talks about the custom and traditions. Also, in the case of Indian Lung Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala.
I think again we lost you.
yes, Your Lordship.
So I
Hello?
request the respondent side to start with the rebuttal then.
Yeah, respondents may continue. If required, I'll give them time later on.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, in issue number 1, the opposite counsel pleads to modify and amend the existing laws. This power is not in the hands of the judiciary. I would like to highlight it, and it is not under the preview of the courts. And court can't create a new right through the process of adjudication. It is for the legislature to decide on the question. Hence, the petitioner's plea are totally unsustainable. And in issue number 1, the respondent mentioned that Section 5 doesn't distinguish between Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act and same-sex couple to marry recognized under this act. So I would like to nullify this statement also. And in issue number 3, and in issue number 1 also, they mention a case that is Lata Singh versus State of UP. This case is specifically dealing with the intercaste marriage, and the court interpret that in intercaste marriage, the girl who have a major has a right to marry. So we can't interpret and use this case in the same-sex marriages. And Shakti Vahini and Union of India and Shafeen Jahan versus Ashoka KM. This case is related to the heterosexual couples, and so we can't use this to recognize the same-sex marriage. This case here, and as I already stated, that right to marriage is only human right, and the opponent side states that the right to marriage is a fundamental right. So I would like to mention here again that it is not a fundamental right, and nor it is a constitutional right. It is only a human right. I would like to invite my co-counsel to proceed further.
Your Lordship, in issue number 3, which is whether or custom rituals forms an exhaustive code or not, I would like to reference the memorandum of my opponents. They have not.
Yes, counsel, just to interrupt you, I think you can restrict your arguments to only the arguments in their rebuttal, not to expand any.
They have not cited any judicial precedents or any reliable documents which can be used to satisfy the court that custom tradition does not form an exhaustive code. They just merely says that they're just merely talking about the rites and rituals and same-sex couples, human beings. But the question is here that customs, traditions, or rituals can form an exhaustive code or not, but they have not mentioned or cited any legal precedents or legal principle to submit their arguments.
Right. His primary submission in rebuttal was that you, as in your co-counsel, agreed with the fact that there is no definition, as in there is no discrimination as such. So under the definition of union of man, as in two Hindus, it is as in you can't carve out the fact that, say, people from the community cannot get married. So he was just pointing out the admission by, as in the counsel for the respondent, as in that submission. So you have anything?
My pardon, Your Lordship. The counsel is not getting the point of the court.
See, the petitioner's counsel, he said that when the submissions were made regarding issue number 1, so there is no, as in the definition of, say, marriage between two Hindus does not discriminate on whether it is between a man or a woman or some third gender. So that was a submission by the respondents. So they are just trying to highlight that why shouldn't the court, as in people from the community, should be as in allowed to get married, since there is no situation carved out. It can be assumed that everything or everybody is covered under that.
Your Lordship, as my co-counsel also says that Section 5 Clause 3 includes indicates the term bride and bridegroom, which should be interpreted by the court in general sense and cannot be include the LGBT community. And also, I would like to go with the Section 13 Clause 2, Clause 4 of the Act, which provides that her marriage, whether consummated or not, was solemnized before she attained the age of 15 years, and she was repudiated the marriage after attaining that age, before attaining that 18 years. This word used here is her marriage, which is basically used for the female and the brides also. So these acts should be, the term should be read in journal and should be read in association with all the facts of the case, because there was a case in which it was held that no provision in the statute can be read in isolation, and no word of the section can be constituted in isolation. The elementary principle of interpreting any word while considering a statute is to gather the mens and sanitary legis of the legislature. This was held in Grasim Industry Ltd versus Collector of Customs.
Right, counsel. So I think you're done with your submissions.
Sorry to interrupt, but the time is over.
Yes. So Divya, I think both the parties have been granted ample opportunity to present their case, be it the petitioner or the respondent.
Yes, sir. You definitely have served justice towards both the parties.
So I was just having one difficulty as regards marking. So I have that document open on the Google Drive, but I'm not able to assign any marks on that, as in I'm not able to edit it.
So before that, if you have any feedbacks to give to them,
yes.
You may give, and they may leave if you don't have any.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. So first, I think I'll speak to the petitioners. So
yes, Your Lordship.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes. So I think regarding jurisdiction, probably you guys could have, since you are the petitioners in the matter, so you could have, as in the respondents, explained about the jurisdiction. I appreciate that you mentioned about Article 142, but probably you should have also looked at 139 or the other provisions of the Constitution. And you guys tried to draw analogy by citing certain case laws in relation to discrimination. So that is okay, but probably you need to give case laws more to the point. Though you tried to draw that analogy that people from, say, a particular case was pertaining to, say, heterosexual couples, or you mentioned about that Gujarat case regarding that professor. So though that is somewhere near the point, but it's not to the point, because in this case, we are looking at interpretation of the laws regarding Hindu Marriage Act and Special Marriage Act. That case probably pertains more on the fact that in relation to, say, trade law, or as in their right to profess their trade or profession, that is there. So you tried, as in I fully appreciate that you guys tried your best to draw the analogy and apprise the court about it.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Right. And you guys could have done little more on, say, human rights, because the other side, they cited, as in United Nations UN Charter on Human Rights is also there, 1949, if I'm not wrong. So they cited...
Yes, Your Lordship. I was going to there. I was going to there in the rebuttals, but due to my poor connectivity issue, I got disconnected. I was going to there just after that.
Understand. Yes, but is that there in your memorials also?
Pardon me, Your Lordship.
You were just trying to... Right. So that's okay. See, it's a learning curve for everybody. So maybe you can look at laws in a more pervasive manner, as in you can just maybe give better references. And though you guys really presented well, and I think now I can move on to the respondent side.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Much obliged, Your Lordship. It was an honor arguing before you.
Thank you. And respondents, I saw your memorial. You just maybe made a mistake, and no, it's not a mistake. So while submitting any of the documents, try and format the document. So maybe the text was not justified in your case. So whenever you are just submitting documents, be it this moot court or some other moot courts or whenever, so try and justify the text. So it, because later on you will be filing the documents in court. So it is always better to have it in a proper format. So it also looks pleasing to the person who's reading. Right. And as far as an analogy is concerned, you guys did a good job in relation to mentioning, when you mentioned about the UN Charter, you also pointed out the wrong fact, which was, it was not a wrong fact. It was probably, they were trying to argue something. So you pointed out that maybe it is not taken in the right spirit. So as in whether it is part of Constitution, as in fundamental rights or not, whether the right to marry, right? And I think your research probably was good, and I tried to ask both the sides certain questions which were not even there in their say memorials, but I tried to gauge the knowledge and understanding, or if they could give me some other reasons. Because when you are before courts or judges, so they can ask you anything under the sun can be asked by them. So it's good that you, as in the petitioners also, they tried their best to as in come up with the logical answers, and I can see the same with you guys.
Thank you, Lordship.
Your Lordship, any individual feedback for the petitioners?
It's a team, so I've just given the feedback about the team.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Much obliged, Lordship.
Thank you,
Yes.
participants, and thank you, sir. We were glad to host you all. So you all can leave the meeting. We'll let you know the results by 8 or 7 p.m. in the night. And so if you have any doubt towards me, you can ask. Others, you can leave.
Yes. So Divya, probably I was not able to assign the marks in that Google sheet which was provided. So as in, I'll discuss with you probably separately as to how do we come up with that.
Okay, so maybe
So
you
all the
can
best
just-
for your as in future endeavors, all the Mooters petitioners and respondents.
Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
Thank you, Your Lordship.
So as far as the marks are concerned, you can try by refreshing the page firstly, because sometimes Google Drive lags behind. So
Okay, I'll just try. In fact, I'll tell you the difficulty I was facing. I've not, obviously, I could not mention. So there is power issue at my place. So therefore,
yes, sir.
I am
understand. This
operating
is the
it
case.
through mobile phone right now. And okay,
If you can
so
just share the screen also, I can help you maybe.
okay, I'll just try and do that. Yeah, I'll again open the link which was shared with me. Okay, scorecards. So this is the Google Drive, right?
So I'm not able to give you a screen if you are sharing.
Yeah, I know. I'll share it.
Yeah.
Yes. So it is saying some word files, Sajit VK. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's saying some, I'll just share the screen probably. Wait. Can you see the screen?
So yes.
Hello, Divya.
Yes, sir. You just logged out from the meeting. So can you know? So actually your voice is coming a bit distorted.
Yes, I think I got disconnected. I tried to, as in, open the link for the marking. It says the word file. I cannot able to hear.
So
Can you hear me?
your voice
I am
is,
saying I am facing.
yeah. Yes, sir.
Divya, can you hear me?
So your audio is not at all clear. So maybe you can try switching off the camera so that it requires less bandwidth.
Yes. So right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I am saying, is it possible if I just download the file, edit it, and then send it by way of an email to the as in to the email?
Yes, sir, sure, sir. That is absolutely fine, sir. Can you help me?
Right.
You can just send it the
So probably I'll address the email to you, and I'll just reply to the email through which I got the link, and accordingly just
Yes, sir.
edit
You can
the file
directly
and send it to
address
you.
it to National Moot Court PGA 2021 @gmail.com. The mail
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
which you got the link. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Any problem, sir?
All right, I'll do that. Thank you, Divya.
Thank you, sir.